the ballpark in Arlington, it's Major League Baseball. Tonight on Home Sports Entertainment, the Texas Rangers open a series with the California Angels. And a very pleasant good evening, everyone. Greg Lucas here along with Norm Hitzges. The story at this point, though, perhaps is not the ball game itself. It is what may be coming to Major League Baseball. Earlier today, as no doubt you are aware, Major League Baseball Players Union said if there is going to be a strike, it will start on August 12th. And Norm, that date was in a range that people thought it might be, maybe a little earlier than some thought.
Probably favors the teams with a bit of a lead now, like the Rangers. It turns this into what amounts to a 2-week sprint to the end of the season. Will it be the end of the season? I think most teams are going to treat it like that. They remember what happened the last strike and how important it was to be in first place. And everybody, you get the feeling, everybody's like Texas and Oakland, will gear up to throw everything they have at being in first place by the morning of August 12th.
That's exactly right, because there's no guarantee that they will be able to play again. It may be that the strike doesn't last very long. It may take you through the postseason. It may not be till next year. They don't know that, so they've got to go ahead and win what they can. So we really are into a sprint. And, of course, for the Rangers, that's not necessarily good, even though they're ahead, because they're going to be playing a lot of games against the West, which should be good, right? Nobody in the West is over 500 except the Rangers can't beat the West.
The schedule probably comes down to a key series the Rangers are going to play in Oakland. It'll probably break down to that threesome. The Rangers seem to have an advantage in the remaining schedule by the virtue of the fact that they'll play 3 of the 4 remaining series at home in the ballpark in Arlington, and that's a change fans should know about.
That's right. The Seattle series will be here because of the problems in the Kingdome. In fact, Seattle will play all of those games that they're going to lose in the park of their foe. That was decided today. The Players Association decided they could not play in Tacoma. Players Association, that keeps coming up, doesn't it?
Yes.
Our pitching matchup tonight, a couple of left-handers. One you know very well, Kenny Rogers. One nobody knows much about except the Angels, and not many of their fans there, Andrew Lorraine.
Kenny Rogers in solid form. Pick a nickname for Andrew Lorraine. Quiche? How about Andrew Singing in Lorraine? Or Ken Brett's favorite, the Angel announcer, Andrew Alsace Lorraine.
We'll see if he can pitch, which is most important. You stay with us. We'll have the lineups, the first pitch, and all the action coming up from the ballpark. Welcome back to the ballpark in Arlington. Tonight, it's the Texas Rangers in the first game of a series with these California Angels. Here's the Southwest Airlines starting lineup. Curtis in center, Owen at third base, Edmonds in left field, Davis the designated hitter, followed by Bo Jackson in right, JT Snow at first, Rex Hudler at second, Turner the catcher, D. Sarcina at short. The Rangers have Gonzalez, Greer, and a return of Butch Davis in right field with Palmer, Beltre, Lee, and Clark on the infield. Rodriguez catching Kenny Rogers.
The left-hander, the 29-year-old left-hander for the Rangers, their leading winner at 10, tries to snap a small losing streak. He's pitched well during the streak. The Rangers have suddenly stopped scoring runs for Kenny Rogers.
Chad Curtis, the leadoff man, takes the first one for a strike on the outside corner. Curtis hitting .257, 10 home runs and 44 runs batted, and he also is quite a base thief if he gets on. Curtis a .313 on base percentage, not very good for a leadoff man.
That's being kind.
Okay, bad.
That's bad for a leadoff man. That's what got David Holt sent packing to Oklahoma City.
Very comparable numbers too.
Yeah.
1 ball and a strike.
This is a major disappointment for the Angels. They thought Chad Curtis was ready to break through as a solid major league player, and he seems to have backslid.
And that pitch is low, and it's 2 balls and a strike. Curtis, for the season, shown most of his power at home. Like the Rangers, the Angels will gain some home games with the situation in Seattle. They'll play a 3-game series at home. If you missed us on the pregame activity or sports talk, about a little after 5 o'clock, we got the word that the use of Tacoma was verboten as far as the Players Association were concerned. So all of the Seattle Mariners games will be on the road until actually until after the strike, it would appear, because they think that Kingdome might be usable after the 10th.
So the next time Seattle's home might be April?
Yes. 3 balls and a strike.
I'm not sure that the Mariners took enough underwear on this trip, Greg.
Oh. Yeah, they'll be using my my system. Find the nearest discount place. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Rogers being careful about what he throws to the leadoff man here.
Yeah.
And he made the right choice. There's 1 out. So Curtis goes back to the dugout, striking out for the 62nd time, and it'll bring up Spike Owen.
That's one of the discouraging things about Curtis's game. Greg, it is hard to have a leadoff hitter on a pace to strike out 100 times and walk 50 times.
It's about what he's on the way to doing. Here's Owen. Owen, the former University of Texas infielder, playing third base this year for the first time ever. That's fouled back. He played other places on the infield before. He's hitting well. 302. Outstanding with 3 homers, 33 runs batted in. Spike, a switch hitter, is in his 70th game. Not hitting quite as well right-handed, but even so, 277. And that's against a career average of 243 overall.
There.
Beltre. 2 down.
Greg, I was going to say about Owen, there is a number on his line that is absolutely unbelievable. Would you believe 35 walks and 12 strikeouts?
And actually, you look at that and his .399 on base percentage, you kind of wonder, maybe he's a leadoff guy. But,
yeah.
Especially since Curtis has a lot more power. Here's Jim Edmonds. Edmonds playing right field, hitting .286 with 5 homers, 36 runs batted in.
Well, it also kind of makes you wonder why Owen's been a part-time player this year, as good as he's played for them.
Well, lately he's gotten in and he's gotten to play, and I guess the conversion to third base was a kind of a gamble. Edmonds broke in last year, was in just 18 games, left-handed hitter, but having a pretty good year. He's not showing great power with 5 home runs, but a good average, .286. This is his 83rd game. 7th round draft pick originally. 2 balls and a strike. Home plate umpire making those calls is Ed Bean. The rest of the umps are veterans: Dankinger, Shulock, Machida. 2-1 pitch. 2-2. Threw that one past him. That last pitch might be a good example of why the hitters say they hope that the high strike isn't called. The problem with the high strike is that it's not as hard to throw it past a hitter.
Edmonds in the lineup tonight probably wouldn't be there were Tim Salmon well. But the Angels Rookie of the Year from last year is bothered by hamstring problems, and he's on the disabled list. And what little offense this team has, and it has little offense, last in the league in runs scored, drops off dramatically when you take Salmon's 19 homers and 63 RBIs out of this lineup.
Yeah, second in both categories by just a smidgen to Chili Davis, 2 homers and 2 RBIs, and he's out. 3 balls and 2 strikes. There's Chili. He's been the #1 producer on the club. And that one's on the outside corner. A well-documented delay call by Bean, and that retires the side. Rangers coming up in the first after they have a discussion at home plate that breaks up, and we'll be back in just a moment. Rangers getting set to come up in the bottom of the first inning. Here's the batting order: Davis, Rodriguez, and Canseco, with Clark, Gonzalez, and Palmer, followed by Greer, Lee, and Beltre. Around the defensive alignment, it's Edmonds, Jackson, and Curtis in the outfield, with Owen, DeSarcina, Hudler, and Snow. The catcher is Turner, and the pitcher is Andrew Lorraine.
Andrew Lorraine will turn a nice sprightly 22 on the day before the strike. Andrew Lorraine, last time this year at this moment, was pitching in Boise in the rookie leagues. He's made a quick move up the ladder in the California system. He's made 2 appearances since being recalled from the minor leagues. On the 16th of July, he was pitching at Vancouver, where he was dynamite. 9-3, had 4 complete games, 2 shutouts, and that in a hitter's league. but he has been raked since he's gotten here. Baltimore beat him up in relief, and then the Yankees beat him up in a start.
Let's take a look at the Thrifty rental car current weather conditions. Beautiful night, and it's relatively cool at 88 degrees, 39% humidity. The winds out of the northwest at a rather calm 9, and the skies are clear. Butch Davis back with the Rangers after a good season in Oklahoma City. 297, 6 homers, 37 runs batted in. The Rangers very short of right-handed bats, and they're going to face 4 left-handed starters, and Butch hurriedly called up after last night's game.
Kevin Kennedy short of bats period last night. Bunch of hurt people on the bench.
There's a liner that is foul. Butch seeing his first action in regular season play here. He was around for the exhibition games against the Mets before he was sent down.
Let's see, there's hurt player Fry. There's a guy who was hurt, Pavlik. Those guys are all right.
Serious there. Those guys are all playable. Owen at third base fires across, and Davis is retired for the first out.
By the way, to make room for Davis, the Rangers deactivated Gary Redus, placing him on the disabled list. It's the 22nd time this year the Rangers placed a player on the disabled list.
Here's Rodriguez, and that one sort of like the situation with Florida and Charlie Huff last night. Could be it for Redus.
Yes.
He's had all sorts of problems, hamstrings, and now he's got elbow problems, and he's pretty much said he was going to retire for this year anyway.
It's a shame. He was a good player for this club last year, a very, very good spare part player, and the Rangers miss his pinch hitting ability and his ability to play the outfield and first base against lefties.
Rodriguez hitting .299 with 13 homers, 51 runs batted in, and the first pitch is a strike on the outside corner.
By the way, while not a lot of people, I think, notice the missing Redus, he was very solid against left-hand pitchers last year, Greg, and that's one of the things missing for the Rangers this year. They're not hitting lefties very well.
Big test of this 4-game series. You run into a team that is on a losing string, which means law of averages says they're going to win sooner or later, and you run into a team that throws from the left side you've had some troubles with. Important that the Rangers jump out early. 1-1 pitch. High fly ball. Maybe they jumped out early. Is it got enough? No. There's 2 outs.
Andrew Lorraine's heart can slowly sink back into the regular cavity. By the way, last time we started against the Yankees, first batter of the game, goodbye. He was down 1-0 after 1 man.
Here's Canseco, who did not get to finish last night's game, arguing over a called third strike that was quite marginal. At the best, it was marginal. And Jose's putting his collection of videotapes together that'll be probably available for sale, I guess.
Yeah.
He's going to be selling great strikes called against me that weren't.
Yeah, we can all watch it during the strike.
No balls in a strike. Well, you know, if basketball and football coaches send tapes into the league offices when they think they've been wrong, why not players?
Well, my only question about it, and there's strike 2 as Canseco peers into the distance, my only question is, what good's it going to do?
No, it doesn't do any good when the coaches do it either, but at least it makes them feel better.
Well, but does it aggravate umpires to the point where they'll stick it to him?
And I don't know. That's fouled back. Would hope that they are more professional than that. Let's take a look at the home run leaders, of which Jose Canseco is one in the Sherwin-Williams leaders in the American League. Griffey on top with Thomas, then Bell, Canseco, Fielder, and a couple of players tied with 22. That 3-game series now that will be played here instead of Seattle doesn't make Griffey unhappy, except that he's going to be away from home. He has loved this park this year.
You know, Greg, I agree with you that you'd love to think the umpires would be more professional at, but let's face it, this is the same group of people that have frozen scabs out for more than a decade now after those people replaced them as during the strike, and it is just hard for human beings to be focused on by a hitter and not realize, hey, this is the guy sending tapes to the league office about us.
Well, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I just can't see what good it does Jose. This is a war he cannot win.
There's a drive to left field. Back toward the track, to the wall. It is going to be over and out. He got it as far as the top of the auxiliary scoreboard. That was far enough. Home run, number 28. Run batted in 84, and the Rangers lead it 1-0.
I think you can see by him shaking his head, he doesn't think he got all of it. Canseco here may be slightly surprised this ball left the yard.
A little bit down nearer the handle of the bat. I think you won't see the big fat part. They couldn't really tell it from that side. Now he's just saying, flew out to left field.
Yeah.
Doggone it.
He thinks that's an out. You could tell by the way he started at first base.
Well, there's virtually no wind, so that didn't harm it. Didn't help it either. He said, how'd they get out of here? This park isn't supposed to carry out there. Here's Will Clark.
You know how we talked with Ken Brett before the game, and Ken Brett had questions about whether the windscreen actually was having some effect here, that the ball was carrying. Now the windscreen's up there. There's a ball probably doesn't get out of this park if the windscreen's not in place.
Yep, I think you're right. Here's the 2-0 to Clark. And he pops it up, foul out of play. Of course, Will Clark is batting in that coveted cleanup position. And while he's been in a little bit of a slump later, when chips are on the line, nobody bats cleanup like Will Clark. And nothing cleans up better than Sherwin-Williams Everclean. Stains don't stand a chance. Will hitting just .334, 13 homers and 79 runs batted in. Yes, I know I said just .334. I'll explain that as he swings and misses. Will contends he is not in a slump because he's hitting .330, .340. Well, no. If the season ended now, you wouldn't think of his season having been in a slump. But he is in a slump.
Yeah, 9 for 50 is a slump.
That's a foul ball.
I mean, what else do you call it?
Well, you know, Ted Kluszewski was one of my boyhood heroes. He didn't call them slumps either. He called them dry spells.
Ah. Well, see, if this were Wall Street, we would call this a normal market adjustment.
Yes, yes.
The stock was a little too high to begin with. It's
right.
Simply finding its right range now.
That's it. Here's a 2-2. In tight full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. On deck, Juan Gonzalez. Gonzalez bringing 75 runs batted into this game. And Clark's on. Lorraine has now walked 7 and struck out 4 in his brief action in the major leagues, which is just about 8 innings, 8 1/3. And now he'll face Gonzalez. Juan has a modest hitting streak going, 6 games, and he's 8 for 24. Overall, his numbers show .278 with 16 home runs and 75 runs batted in.
Lorraine is a sinking fastball, as you can tell, not overpowering.
How about Margaret Woodard? She's our contestant in the Desinex Itching to Steal stolen base contest. If any Ranger steals tonight, she wins $100. There's a liner to left field for the base hit. Clark goes to second base and holds, so the Rangers now have 3 base runners in a row. Let me mention again, Margaret, you also win 2 tickets to a Ranger home game. If any Ranger steals tonight, you're also entered into the grand prize drawing for a weekend at spring training. Entry forms at any Tom Thumb. Here's Dean Palmer now. He will face Mr. Lorraine. Palmer also is in a Ted Kluszewski dry spell, just 3 for his last 44. 245 with 18 home runs and 51 runs batted in. Now, if he is seeking his level, he's there, because 245, 246, pretty much what he has hit in his career. So it's time for him to kind of at least tread water. That ball's fouled back.
Bet you if you asked Dean, he'd say he was in a slump.
He had one supreme stretch.
Yeah.
378.
Oh, is it 11 homers in 18 games?
Oh, yes. He just incredibly hot, and now it's just the opposite. No balls and a strike. Foul ball. Way around on that one.
Tell you what, Andrews not fooling him. Not fooling him a lot the last few guys. He barely missed having Rodriguez take him out. Then Canseco did take him out. Then the walk and the shot by Gonzalez and the shot foul by Palmer.
Andrew went to Stanford, didn't pitch a whole lot there as a junior before drafted due to the depth of the staff, mostly in relief. Good arm, though. There's a looping liner, base hit. Here comes Clark. He's coming to the plate and will score. Gonzalez gets back to second on the base hit by Palmer. It may have been a humpbacker. It may have broken a bat, but it got the Rangers the second run of the inning.
Visit on the dead run from the Angels pitching coach, Chuck Hernandez.
Now, one thing he's got to be telling him there is reassuring him, okay, you're in a little trouble, but you jammed Palmer on that one. He got that one off the handle. Canseco homered, but he didn't think it was. He thought it was a fly ball to left. So you're a little unlucky. Just settle down, relax. You can get through this. We're facing a left-handed batter now, Rusty Greer. Well, the Rangers, who now are just one game to the good in the loss column, are at the point where they have to actually win every game. Haven't really had that situation much this year.
No. You know, you really realize that this is now the pennant stretch. This is literally what the next 2 weeks turns into. It is the stretch run of pennant contention.
Rusty's been very effective in that situation. Runners in scoring position overall, 309 with 8 homers and 39 runs batted in. Fly ball right field, and the tracks for Bo. Bo Jackson watches it fall and grabs it. That retires the side. So in the first inning, the Rangers get 2 on the homer by Canseco, the RBI single by Palmer. Going to the second inning, the Angels coming up with Chili Davis, Bo Jackson, and J.T. Snow. Rangers lead it 2-0. Davis, the designated hitter. And that is that's a true definition of what he's been this year. There's a fly ball to center field. He designates that one, however, to Rusty Greer's glove. Chili had been hitting .332 with 21 home runs and 71 runs batted in. We'll go back to the dugout and we'll take a look at one of our favorite players here in Arlington, the old park, and here is Bo Jackson. He's one of the fan favorites. Brings a little magnetism to the plate, even hobbling around on his artificial hips. Look at the numbers. 271, 12 homers, 40 runs batted in. And he's been hot lately. He started rather slowly. They were using him a little and little not. But he's hit some big home runs. 7 of his 12 homers have 4 tied the game, and 3 have sent the team ahead. And he takes a strike. 22 of his last 40 games he's hit safely. No balls and a strike. That's foul. Whoosh, in and out of the luxury suites. In fact, it slammed off the glass enclosure and back down into the lower section, and souvenir time for the young guy.
Apparently the number of major leaguers with artificial hips is going to keep growing.
Yeah, except I don't think any of them are going to be playing.
You know, as Jackson strikes out, let me tell you something. I would never say never to Charlie Huff.
Pretty close. Here's J.T. Snow now, the first baseman. J.T. hitting .227 with 6 homers, 21 runs batted in. Snow has been a disappointment offensively for this team. They thought he was going to be something. He's not yet developed into the type of player. He's had to go up and down from the minor leagues. Hit 16 homers last year with a low average, and he's popping it up to the left side, and Dean Palmer takes charge. And how about that for a quick inning? We'll be back and we'll see the Rangers bat in the bottom of the second. Lee, Beltre, and Davis.
You're watching HSE, the best team on TV.
This copyright program is presented by the authority of Major League Baseball and the Texas Rangers and is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written permission of Major League Baseball, the Texas Rangers, and Home Sports Entertainment is prohibited. Manuel Lee leads it off, batting right-handed, hitting .278 overall with a homer, 31 runs batted in. The Rangers lead it 2-0 as we go to the bottom of the second. The first pitch is a strike. Lee hitting .296 now right-handed. That one at bat and the base hit last night zoomed his average up. He has had just 54 official at bats as a right-handed hitter. One ball and a strike.
The first out Lorraine gets in this inning will mean 9 total innings of pitching in his 3 appearances.
Pulled the string on it. Lee way under it.
And the totals are not going to be friendly. Mr. Lucas, he has not been effective at all.
Well, sometimes the mental part of moving from AAA to the majors for a young player is as important as anything, because he was effective at Vancouver, 9-3 with a 3.24 earned run average, 71 strikeouts, 25 walks, and only 116 2/3 innings. But tell you what, you got to get jittery when you get in the major leagues. Foul ball. And that's why I'm kind of hoping that last night's performance by Detmer kind of lit the light bulb, because he really was coming after hitters. He was throwing the fastball, not afraid to throw the fastball to these so-called Superman major league hitters, and he was getting them out.
Too bad he wasn't rewarded with a win.
You know, he's got the lowest earned run average of Rangers starters, and he's 0-5.
Yeah.
Here's a 2-2. Slap to the right side, snared by Snow, and a play is made to Lorraine. Put a star on that one for J.T. Snow.
Well, the one thing they always said about J.T. Snow was he could pick it at first base, that he was a solid first baseman, and you see it here. This ball could have been a triple if it gets by Snow. On the ground, rolling down into the right field corner.
J.T. Snow showing the hands of his dad, Jack, the former Notre Dame and Ram receiver. Here's Beltre. Beltre, the shortstop, 256, no homers, 12 runs batted in.
Well, now for his 9 innings of pitching over 3 games. In 9 innings, Andrew Lorraine, 20 hits, 14 runs, 4 homers and 7 walks in 9 innings.
Ball line to center field. Curtis moving over to his left, and he makes the catch. Beltre is retired. Well, you know, he's going to build up a little confidence here. He's retired the last 3 in a row, and Butch Davis, who he retired on a ground ball to open the Ranger first, is up. 2 outs here. Rangers lead at 2-0. Canseco hit a solo homer, and after a walk to Clark, a single by Gonzalez, Palmer singled up the middle, plated a second run, and that's the scoring. Butch swings through the first one, 0-1. Davis was a valuable player for the Rangers last year. He hit .245, 3 home runs, but he has great speed, even at his rather advanced age for a ball player. Spent so much time in the minor leagues. And a good defensive outfielder, and he gives a lot more versatility. To be honest, he gives a lot more versatility than even Reedus would have had he not gone on the injured list this time, because Gary, frankly, with the legs, just can't run like he used to be able to. No balls and 2 strikes. Popped up short right. Backing up for it is Hudler, the second baseman. That retires the Rangers. A very quick second inning both ways. We'll go to the third. The Rangers lead it 2-0. It'll be Hudler, Turner, and DeSarce. Tonight's game is being brought to you by Desenex. To both soothe and cure athlete's foot, Desenex does it all. Also bringing you the game this evening, Western Auto, America's #1 auto parts store. And our game is being brought to you by Save On. all the tools for back to school. Yes, kids, I'm sorry, but they bought the time, and we have to remind you that it's time to think about back to school.
Strike.
Yeah.
Go on strike.
Here's Hudler. Hudler, 301 average, 8 home runs, and 20 runs batted in, but a versatile player, plays second base. Back from Japan, where he played last year. Rex played for the Yakult Swallows, where he hit 21 homers, drove in 70 runs. No balls and 2 strikes, and the breaking ball for strike 3 called. Kenny has got great control of the breaker, and that's his 4th strikeout.
Boy, great. You see the stuff Kenny Rogers has had against a team that's already got a woeful lineup. And you realize he's had a fabulous career record against this team. And it's early, but you still start thinking, ooh, could see something special tonight.
Here's Chris Turner hitting .233 with a homer. 10 runs batted in. He's the catcher in this game. 1 ball and no strikes.
Minnesota just came through with a catching platoon that wasn't hitting anything. Walbeck and Parks. And here comes another catching platoon that's not hitting anything.
And a strike called. It is 1 ball and 1 strike.
D'Alessandro that they have up is hitting .200. Turner at .233 and Myers at .219.
Swing and a miss, which again brings up my point. And I want all people who have ever called a talk show ever with any nitpicky criticism of Rodriguez to remember catchers are hard to find, and certainly catchers as good as he is, whether he blocks the plate well or whatever it may be, they're tough to find. There's 2 outs on the looper to Gonzalez.
We talked about the Angels having the worst run scoring offense in the league. The book that Dave Lawson and I did this year rates players offensively, and you can do it as the season goes along, Greg. To give you some idea, JT Snow is dead last among starting first basemen in offense, their first baseman. Damian Easley's dead last at second. This is offense. DeSarcina 13th at shortstop. Edmonds 12th amongst all left fielders, and Chad Curtis 14th amongst all center fielders. Wow, that is 5 dead spots in this lineup.
DeSarcina, who has always come up with spectacular plays defensively against the Rangers every time they're in town. For him, he's doing a pretty good job. .261.
Oh yeah, we've got to alert people to just watch tonight, because every time DeSarcina is on Home Sports Entertainment, he makes 3 of the plays that you say to yourself, "Oi!"
Well, I'll never forget the 1 inning last year where he made all 3 of them in 1 inning, and every one of them was a star. Amaru had to take a bad hop. Quick release, and he made the play, and that retires the side.
Boy, nice play.
So in the third, 1, 2, 3 for California is Rogers totally in command. The Rangers coming up.
You're watching HSE, the best team on TV.
Bottom of the third as we get set for action. A reminder, it's time to give you another finalist in our HSE Coast to Coast contest. If you'd like to enter, still time, but you got to do it quickly. Post Office Box 140219, Irving, Texas 75014. Our finalist that we're announcing tonight, we'll give you the name after this pitch, and also some information, as the first pitch is a ball. Laura Duke of Pasadena, Texas, is finalist number 9. Now we'll be naming the rest of the finalists and the grand prize winner actually before the strike, the way it's set up. However, let me tell you what happens if there is a strike. Ball is fouled to the right side, just outside the pole, a little bit short of home run distance. 1 ball and a strike. If there in fact is a strike on the 12th, and it is not possible for the winner to actually go to New York and San Francisco to do fantasy baseball and see both the Astros and Rangers play, the winner will be given the option of going on a trip to New York and San Francisco, both places, and just having some time on the town, or a fantasy trip which kind of intrigues me. I don't know what that would involve. But anyway, those are going to be the options if, in fact, baseball is on strike. So it's still going to be a great prize for whoever wins. So if you can get to the mailbox quickly, why get your entry in.
A fantasy trip?
I know.
It's a 900 number to call?
It's kind of makes you wonder about that, doesn't it? Something Greg Merrill would go on. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Not this one. This is legit. This will be good. I don't know what it is, but it'll be good. Even the New York San Francisco, if you just want to go there, as you would had the teams been playing, a lot to see both places. That's kind of a fantasy in itself. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Fouled back.
Since we won't be doing games, by the way, we are free to accompany them. Courtesy of the company.
If you win and, you know,
Yes.
you get it for 2. Norm can't go, though, because he has radio obligations. I only work for this company, and we won't be doing baseball, so I will be truly free. And just don't tell my wife. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Honest, they are playing in San Francisco, and I have to leave right now.
Yeah. 2 balls and 2 strikes. There's a shot to left field. It is way back. It is over and out. Home run number 14 for Rodriguez. Run batted in 52, and the Rangers lead it 3-0.
This one gives Rodriguez the all-time record for homers in a season by a Ranger catcher. Breaking a tie with Sluggo.
Well, he beats the possible strike, too.
That's right. Don
Gets it in the
Slaught
book.
and Pudge are the only catchers to have 13.
Canseco homered the first time up, and he takes it inside. So Lorraine, who has been plagued by the long ball, that is the 5th that he has given up. It's one every 2 innings about. Well, there's another one way back to left. It is up. It is over and out. Canseco's second homer in as many at-bats. His 29th of the season. His 85th run batted in, and the Rangers lead it 4-0.
Again, it did not appear he thought this ball was gone.
He's the luckiest man on the face of the earth tonight, if that's the way he's looking at it.
Halfway between first and second, he shook his head again.
Well, the ball is carrying on Mr. Lorraine. As the conference breaks up, there's action starting down in the pen. Back-to-back homers by Rodriguez and Canseco in the 3rd, and the Rangers lead it 4-0. And Clark will be up. Clark walked and scored his first time up. Well, you know, as we talked about last night, there's one of 2 ways that a young pitcher works against most teams. When you've never seen him before, either you can't touch him or the opposite happens. There's hardly ever any middle ground with a young pitcher. One ball and a strike. Well, the Rangers finding the offense they had lost and couldn't find last night. That ball is stroked to left. Backing up for it is Edmonds, short of the track, and he makes the catch. Park retired.
In the bullpen for the Cal Angels, the man that Lorraine replaced in the rotation, Russ Springer.
Another former LSU Tiger.
And another part of that, what has been incredibly disappointing trade with the Yankees that brought Snow, Springer, and Nielsen for Jim Abbott. None of the 3 has contributed heavily.
Gonzalez takes the first one in tight. No balls and a strike.
Did you see the note that the Angels think there's a chance Jim Abbott will come back to them after the season?
Me as a free agent?
Yeah. That apparently the two teams that people feel have the best chance at Abbott are the Tigers, where Abbott went to school in college in Michigan, and California to work with Lashman.
That's fouled back. Well, there's other factors too. I think of the California teams, probably the most comfortable place to live and reside would be around the Anaheim area.
Yeah.
The Dodgers are right in the big city, and Anaheim is much more laid back, suburban.
And Jim really apparently liked it in Anaheim when he was there.
No balls and 2 strikes. Hard shot, high hop. Owen at third. And Gonzalez retired. He's 1 for 2. Had a single the first time. And now Palmer, who singled and drove in a run, will be up with 2 outs. Palmer's single up the middle was his 52nd run batted in, producer. Rangers lead it 4-0. Hard chopper, backhand by Owen. He's taken to third base, isn't he? How about that play? That retires the Rangers. However, 2 more runs on back-to-back homers starting the inning by Rodriguez and Canseco. The Rangers have hit 3. They have scored 4 and lead. Chad Curtis will be leading off, but let's remind you we've got some upcoming Ranger action. Sunday will be our next telecast. The Angels will wrap up the series, and then on Wednesday, White Sox are in town. Our next game's on HSE. 1 ball and no strikes. Curtis was called out on strikes opening the game. He worked the count 3-2, but was called out. Rogers has 4 strikeouts, no walks. Fly ball deep center, moving over for it is Greer. He's got room. 1 out.
10 in a row. Greg, with the early strike date being set, that is games of August 11th, basically, is the end of the season for the near future. Does it seem to you that that just precludes almost anybody making a deal now?
Yeah, I think so. I think it does because you're talking about 13 games or 15 tops, depending on some teams play that day before Thursday. The Rangers don't. I'd be very surprised. Although there are a couple teams that have been active. The Reds have been active right up down the line.
And it's important for somebody to win that division. The poor second place finisher there gets squeezed out of the playoffs right now.
Yeah, unless they get real hot and Braves drop off, or Montreal. Those 2 teams are both ahead of the second place team in the Central.
Right now the team squeezed out would be the Astros, who are a game and a half behind Atlanta and percentage points behind Cincinnati.
Now they can go into a dead heat with Cincinnati if San Diego wins tonight. The Astros are off tonight.
In fact, they'd go ahead of Cincinnati.
They have exactly the same record.
No, they'd go a half game ahead. Because they're just
I'm sorry, the loss column would be loss column would be 2 balls and a strike. High fly, short left. In fact, shortstop Beltre is going to try to take this one, and Spike Owen is out number 2.
11 in a row. Whew, boy, is Kenny breezing.
Took him only 32 pitches to get the first 10 outs, and a couple more to Owen. And here's Edmonds now. Edmonds, who was called out on strikes, ending the first. Yeah, what is this? Let's see. Last night, Ranger pitching gave up 1 run. And tonight, he's breezing through 4. Who says Rangers? See, this is what's frustrating, though. You stop and think about it. Just when you think, oh, we got to desperately, absolutely do something if you're general manager or the manager, then all of a sudden you get a couple of well-pitched games and think, well, gee, if they do that again next time. The problem is then they don't. No balls and a strike.
Rangers came in with the worst record in the American League when the opposition starts a lefty. They were 11-15. They did beat the last lefty they saw, Jim Deshaies, the other night. Or at least won the game that he started.
Yeah.
The Rangers, however, will face a lot more quality in the next 3 lefties in this series. Langston, Young, Brian Anderson, and Chuck Finley.
2-1 pitch. Slap to the right side. It'll be Manuel Lee, and that retires the side. 4 perfect innings for Kenny Rogers. As the Rangers come up in the bottom of the 4th, we'll get to take a look at Greer, Lee, and Beltre. Tonight's game is being brought to you by Sherwin-Williams Everclean. Stains don't stand a chance. Our game also brought to you by your friends who make Johnsonville brats, big taste from a small town. And by Southwest Airlines, with low fares on every seat of every flight everywhere it flies. Flying the low-fare airline is just plain smart. That ball flew into the stands, a foul ball off the bat of Greer.
Greg, this inning, I talked to Tom Schiefer before the game and have a general plan for the ticket distribution for the Seattle series for you.
All right.
Here's what's going to happen. For those who haven't heard, the Major League Players Association rejected Tacoma. Greg, because it was a minor league facility, is that why?
That was the official statement. The Players Association said because it was a minor league park.
Gee, and they let us play in Arlington Stadium last year? But anyway, the season ticket holders and the seat option holders are going to get first choice at buying their seats for those games. And the general public can buy all the other seats. A letter will apparently go out to the Rangers seat option holders and season ticket holders tomorrow saying, hey, call in and exercise your option to buy here. And you can do it apparently by telephone. Because it's this letter, and you can buy it by credit card and telephone.
Here's a 2-2 to Greer.
Ooh, beauty.
That is the first out of the 4th and the first strikeout for Lorraine.
And Greg, apparently this series will be priced much more cheaply. Now, I don't want to commit the Rangers to this, but they're talking somewhere in the area of a top price of $10.
That's what they did in Boston. And hey, if they played it in Tacoma, they only had 10,000 seats, so they can certainly drop the price.
Yeah.
That was the only other option that was really strong, and Players Association vetoed that. The American League had approved use of Tacoma, but the Players Association did not.
Well, and the prices may drop all the way as far as the $2 range.
Try to get people here. There's a fly ball to the right side. Bo Jackson is there to corral it, and Manuel Lee is 0 for 2.
So the season ticket holders and seat option holders should look for a letter from that man, Tom
That
Schiefer.
man right there will be, as soon as he finishes his ice cream, he'll be typing his letter.
Right, he'll get right
and
back to work.
he'll be going down to a quick print copy place, and he'll be getting them in the, I think he's going to have the youngster, his son there, lick the stamps.
Yes, he'll be stuffing the envelopes.
And they'll be getting that out to you tomorrow. There's a strike to Beltre.
Boy, a question I can't answer. David Handler, our producer, asking if Schiefer gets comp ice cream at the park.
Harry Stevens, people who have the concession.
I'd say no.
I'd say they're going to charge. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Imagine trying to talk some of these crusty veteran vendors into a free ice cream. Oh yeah, sure. You're the president of the club. Sure. $3, buddy.
Well, that brings up, there are old stories with presidential visits to ballparks, especially when they used to sit down about where the president of the club is, Tom Schiefer, and the party would order stuff from the concessionaires, and someone would always forget to pay. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Fisted out to DeSarcina. 1, 2, 3 in the 4th.
Now that sounds more like our director, Robert Steinfeld.
We'll be back with the 5th. Heading to the 5th inning, the Angels coming up with Davis, Jackson, and Snow against Kenny Rogers, who has been perfect. He has struck out 4, no walks, no base runners. He got Davis on a fly ball to center field, leading off the 2nd. Rogers has thrown 40 pitches, 28 of them strikes. 10 of his 14 breaking balls have been strikes, and that's why he's so well in charge. Look at this. This is an editorial comment, isn't it?
Yes, that's the Ranger president to the left. And 3, shall we say, apparently disgruntled fans to the right.
Oh, look, the ego took over, didn't it, guys? Yeah, you had to get the face on there, except for the guy in the middle. Give him credit. He must be terminally ugly. Davis is retired. One out here in the 5th. Well, Sports Legacy, the nation's largest sports art gallery with originals by guys like Vernon Wells, Gene Locklear, Bart Forbes, and Rick Rush on display. It's open 7 days a week from 10 to 6, plus on all Ranger game nights. Entrances off Randall Mill Road during the day and from the center field bleachers during games. If you'd like to ask some questions about what may be, what the heck is this? That is not Sports Legacy.
Whose shoes got set fire to in the dugout?
Some real slow guy, maybe. Well,
I assume that's water.
they didn't flare up. Here's Bo Jackson.
We're told it's Canseco's shoes.
I think they're getting on him for these home runs he's been hitting that he's been saying, oh, I didn't get that one. I think they're getting back at him. 1 ball and a strike. He's hit 2 home runs, and both of them he thought he was flied out to left field.
Not me.
Jackson with a strike, and it's 1-2 to Bo. He struck out the first time. And he's given Mr. Bean an umpiring lesson. Jackson this season, we said he's been on a hot streak over a last number of games with the strikeout his first time up. That one's inside. And you know what?
I mean, these are the shoes. He may have hit 2 home runs in these shoes, Greg.
He might have, although what was he doing taking them off? Jackson this year has struck out 64 times, roughly 1 of every 3 at-bats. And now 2 of 2 in this game. 2 outs. Strikeout number 5. Here's tonight's TSO no play of the game. Something you don't see every day. Someone so fast that he sets his shoes on fire. Well, if they were Jose's, I hope they weren't his favorites. Here's J.T. Snow, popped out his first time. Ball and no strikes.
The Angels, this is the first game of this 4-game series. The Angels have a peculiar record this year. In the first games of series, this is the 34th series they've played this year. In the first game, they're 9-24. Other than that, they're almost a 500 baseball team. But they don't do well the first time through.
Not off to a good start here, that's for sure. That pops inside, and it's 3 balls and no strikes. J.T. Snow way ahead of the count. Rogers has not walked anyone. No one has reached base, and he's had 3 balls on 2 or 3 hitters. First time he's been 3-0 in my recollection. Strike. 3 balls and a strike.
You know what else is hard to remember about these Angels? This is the team Texas replaced in first place.
That's right.
Yeah.
A long time ago. There's a stroke to center, but Rusty Greer is there, and through 5. Rogers has been as good as you can be. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th. It'll be the Rangers' top of the order with Davis, Rodriguez, and Canseco. Back in the 3rd inning, Rangers scored 2 runs. One of them coming on Jose Canseco's 2nd home run in as many at-bats. And the Rangers now lead it by a score of 4-0, and with the home run being the story, this is going to be the Southwest Airlines Home Run Derby Sweepstakes inning. Rick Kane of Wichita Falls is the contestant. If a Ranger hits a home run during this inning, he wins 2 free tickets anywhere Southwest flies. Stay tuned. We'll tell you how you can win as well. Now, who's coming up? Well, Davis, then Rodriguez, who has a homer, and Canseco, who has hit 2 against the same pitcher. You know what? Davis is capable of jerking 1-2. 2 balls and no strikes.
By the way, we should tell people, we've now been informed by our cameraman by the dugout, those are a pair of Canseco's shoes that he's had since spring training.
They must have decided they were ripe.
Yes.
2 balls and no strikes. Lee Sarcina. Another routine play for Gary, and there's 1 out here in the 5th.
And don't look now, but Andrew Lorraine has mowed down 7 in a row.
Well, there's Pudge, though. Pudge slammed one over the wall. His 14th home run of the season in the 3rd. He's 1 for 2. It boosted his batting average back over 300. He's at 301. Rangers 4 runs and 5 hits. No errors. The Angels no runs, no hits, no errors. Rangers have left 2. Foul ball. Nice crowd tonight. This was road jersey night. Will Clark road jersey night, wasn't it? I think that was the occasion tonight.
Shouldn't they have saved that for when Seattle came in?
That would have been good, because that's going to be an extra.
Yeah, if there's anybody who should be the visitor on road jersey night, it's Seattle.
Spike Owen. 2 outs as Lorraine has found the groove here. But here's Canseco. He'll get quite a hand. Now, if you were with us earlier in the season when Jose hit 3 home runs in 1 game, all 3 of them were well shot. Not so tonight, but they count. 2 home runs. $19 2-home run games, 2 3-home run games, 21 all told for Canseco. 1 ball and no strikes. Well, they got all the letters right. In order. 1 ball and no strikes.
You seldom see a power hitter choke up on the bat. But that's one of the concessions Canseco makes because he crowds the plate. Because, see, if you choke up a little bit, there's less in what amounts to jam room on the bat.
He's up 1.5 inches, and he's up on the count. 3 balls and no strikes, and some of the fans booing.
Well,
better home run contested at home booing, too.
Well, if Andrew throws a strike here, he should realize that the light's probably green.
Yes. 3 balls and no strikes to Canseco, already with 2 home runs in the ball game. Rangers leading 4-0.
Ooh.
Fastball in the inside corner. 3 balls and a strike.
Yet another one of the products of that fine Stanford organization. Boy, do they have some nice pitchers in the major leagues.
That ball's hit hard, hanging up to Curtis in center field, and he makes the catch, and that retires the Rangers. Well, we don't have a home run sweepstakes winner, but we'll tell you how you can enter when we come back after the break. Through 5, it's 4-0. Well, our sweepstakes player tonight did not win the sweepstakes, but he'll receive an HSE Southwest Airlines goodie bag. Here's how you can enter. The address. Actually, you should be memorizing these addresses. Just remember Post Office Box 140219, Irving, Texas 75014, and then you put the proper heading on it. This is for the Southwest Airlines Home Run Derby sweepstakes. Ball's popped back a little in front of us here. Norm, your arms are a little short.
Yeah.
If you enter, you also may be eligible to win a grand prize on the road with the Rangers, courtesy of Southwest Airlines. Flying the low-fare airline is just plain smart, so be sure you enter today. Hudler struck out the first time. Rogers has gotten 15 in a row out. That's popped up. That's a little bit short. No, that's way short. Your depth perception needs work, Norm.
Amongst other things.
1 ball and 2 strikes.
Meanwhile, for you tuning in late, we call your attention to the string of zeros on the board for California, all the way across.
56 pitch, laced out to left field. That's going to be tough. Gonzalez over. He's there, makes the catch. Ball hung up for him, and that is the first out of the inning. Angels Rangers, as the Rangers get the runs.
Here's where the zeros become a little more important.
Chris Turner, this is the 8th man in the batting order, so Kenny is 2 men away from going through the lineup twice. Turner flied to left field his first time. One of the few times his slider has had too big a bite, missed the plate. 1 ball. Seen Kenny Rogers' slider, which you saw there. You see the sharp breaking ball. He's had command of everything so far. That ball is popped up on the infield. Clark at first base. You know, regardless of how this ends up, the fact remains Rogers has pitched superbly. He's had every pitch working for him, it appears. And now here's DeSarcina, who grounded out the first time.
And there hasn't been a hard play in the game.
And Roger Pavlik is saying, let's see, all I got to do is do this tomorrow. And he's pitching tomorrow. He said, this is easy. And it is easy. Rogers, 1, 2, 3, and a 6th. 6 perfect runs as we go to the bottom of the 6th. The crowd recognizing the performance as the Rangers come up with Clark, Gonzalez, and Palmer. Tonight's game is being brought to you by America's Place to Go for fish. Go fish at Long John Silver's. Our game also being brought to you by the Dallas Morning News, where Ranger fans go after the game for in-depth coverage of Major League Baseball. Also sponsoring this evening, Texaco System 3 gasolines.
Meanwhile, Greg, Kenny Rogers has mowed down 18 men in a row. And there's a baseball tradition that when a pitcher has a special game going like this, nobody talks to him. And people have come by, talked to Manny Lee sitting on his right, walk by Rogers, don't say anything, pick up the conversation the other side of him.
Well, it's not exactly like they got to go tell him what he's got to change. Here's Clark. Clark has walked and flied out.
Normally during a game, you'll have a guy come by and say, hey, some good innings or nice going, or, you know, not tonight.
Clark walked and scored the Rangers' 2nd run in the 1st inning, coming in on a single by Palmer. 3 of the Rangers' 4 runs have come directly on homers. Canseco has hit 2 solo homers. Rodriguez a solo homer. And the other run coming on that Palmer single. On the corner for a strike, and it's 1-2. Stays wide, count even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Clark throughout his career has hit well against left-handed pitching, just a tad less than against right-handers. Not a major difference, and it's 3 balls and 2 strikes. Lorraine has walked 1, and that was Clark. He has 1 strikeout. Now he's got 2. 1 out here in the 6th. Clark back to the dugout, and Juan Gonzalez will be up. Juan had a base hit in the 1st and grounded out in the 3rd.
Canseco's home run that just slipped over the scoreboard in the bottom of the 3rd with nobody out. He is now the last man in this game to reach base.
Yeah, that's 10 straight retired by Lorraine. Well, that ends it. Base hit up the middle by Gonzalez. And he's 2 for 3.
And it gets Gonzalez into the 280s. It has been a long, hard pull for Juan, but finally that average creeping back up in the respectability area for him.
Well, we talked about this before. He's just cut down on the severity and ferociousness of his swing. And the average is creeped up. He's had more singles. He's had fewer strikeouts. No, he hadn't really punched up the home runs much yet, but his overall hitting is a lot better. Here's Palmer. Palmer drove in a run with a base hit in the first, grounded out in the third. Zoff pounding the drum down in the first base area, trying to get the Rangers going, leading 4-0. Gonzalez in the last 17 games is 29 for 70 with his base hit. That's .414. Now he hasn't punched out a whole bunch of home runs in that stretch, but he has gotten his total up to 16. Strikeout count is holding at 59.
Greg, in case you're wondering, some of the grass appears to have gone on strike already.
Yeah, they had a problem here with the. Really, the problem has been with the Bermuda grass growing.
Yeah.
The ryegrass, which was here in the spring and was very slippery. Remember early on, it's died out because of the heat. It always will. But the ryegrass was expected to die out. What's happened is the Bermuda has not gotten deep enough roots to send the runners out and fill in properly. 2 balls and a strike. It's fouled back. We made fun of the grass in the what we call the grassy knoll in center field. As why is it so good? The reality is it's not the same kind of grass. It's not what you could use on the infield.
Why not?
I think it's. I think it's
pretty good to me.
I think it's too thick, and I think it's too. You have pretty bad hops, even worse than the Rangers have been suffering here. Might be even St. Augustine or Fescue or something that's not suitable. Here's the 2-2. Two balls and 2 strikes. Dean Palmer with runner at first and 1 out. Andrew Lorraine, working in his 6th inning, has given up 4 earned runs. Gonzalez, who has 6 steals this season, gets back. High pop, jumped on an off-speed pitch, and it's popped out to DeSarcina at short left field. The shortstop makes the catch. 2 outs. And Greer will hit. Greer was the first to strike out. Scouting report that Billy Sample gave us on Lorraine has been pretty accurate in the regard to left-handed hitters, because he has handled Greer and Clark. He did walk Clark once, but he's gotten them out. In fact, his 2 strikeouts against left-handers, but long balls have all been from the righties. Billy Sample, the former Ranger, who's a California broadcaster. No balls and a strike. Greer flied to right field, ending the first, and was called out on strikes leading off the 4th. Foul ball to the right near the Ranger dugout. Notice batting coaches, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to make sure that pitcher doesn't have anything that was on that ball. Let's get rid of that ball. I don't want to use that anymore. There's a black spot. My hitters might not see it well enough. Willie Upshaw. No balls and 2 strikes.
I was talking with a veteran scout before the game, who shall remain nameless, by the way. Just asking about, I think many people are corking bats. He said, oh yeah, well sure. I said, many pitchers fiddling with it? Oh, he said, oh yeah, I saw one a couple of nights ago here. I said, you're not going to tell me who are. He said, no.
Greer's called out on strike for the 2nd time. 2 strikeouts in the inning as he gets both the left-handed hitters. We'll see Kenny Rogers come out to work the 7th. He'll start with the top of the order, the Rangers.
You're watching HSE, the best team on TV.
Norm Hitzges. We head to the 7th. Kenny Rogers will start with the top of the batting order. Third time through. No one has reached base against Kenny yet as Chad Curtis swings through the first pitch. Rangers lead it 4-0. Curtis has been called out on strikes and flied to center field.
Kenny has literally had everything every inning. He's had the hitters at his mercy because he's thrown every pitch he's got in his repertoire for strikes whenever he's wanted to.
There's one that stays just a little high, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Yeah, in a situation like this, if you're a hitter, the only way you really have a chance is if you happen to guess right.
Yep.
And he's got, he's got the fastball and the curveball and the slider, and he has a couple curves. He's got one that's slower and one that's harder. Well, how do you guess? There's a breaking ball that just misses inside. He drops behind 2 balls and a strike. This is when, if you're a hitter, you basically have to go back, generally speaking, looking fastball.
He's really been behind only 1 hitter tonight, and that was J.T. Snow. He fell behind him 3-0 in the count, threw a strike, and then on the 3-1 pitch, Snow flied to center.
I think if you're Curtis here, you look fastball. 2 balls and a strike. He got it, but it's a strike, and he wasn't looking at it. He wasn't looking fastball because he didn't look like he was ready to react at all. 2 balls and 2 strikes. I'm going to question his thought process on that. He had thrown 2 breaking balls and not hit with them. And he's got a 4-0 lead. Why is he not looking for a fastball? Just missed with another one. Tried to jam him, and the count is full. 3-2. On deck is one-time Longhorn, Spike Owen.
You know, the fans know what's going on here. You can see him go, you can hear him go, ooh, when he went to 3-2.
Well, now we're having a little debate between Pudge and Kenny. What's he want to throw? Pudge gave him a sign. Kenny wanted another one. He's got a real good fastball. See if he goes again with it on 3-2. Chopped out to the left side. Dean Palmer on a high hop. There's one.
19 in a row.
Now Spike Owen, who was grounded to short and popped to short. Owen, a switch hitter. The All-American at Texas in 1982. First-round pick of Seattle. 6th player chosen overall out of college. And a slow breaking ball for a strike.
And a player who's had very little success with Rogers in his career. Owen now 1 for 9 against Kenny.
11-year major league vet with several teams. Spike with Seattle, of course, then Boston, Montreal, Yankees, California. In tight. 1 ball and a strike.
Greg, let me suggest to you, this is the type of player the Rangers need to pick up in the offseason. If Manny Lee is not re-signed here, they'll be in the market for a guy just like Spike Owen.
Versatile guy, can play all 3 infield positions. Switch hitter gives you some options there. That's in tight for a ball. 2 balls and a strike.
And you know Spike would love to come back to Texas and play.
Two balls and a strike. Owen, born in Cleburne, not far from here, resides in Austin. 2 balls and a strike. A little low, 3-1. Well, in this inning, at least, Curtis and Owen have made Rogers throw more pitches. We're in the 7th with 1 out. 3 balls and a strike to Owen. Strike. Now Owen is an outstanding on-base percentage of almost 40%, .399 coming into this game. So he knows the strike zone, and Norm pointed out his strikeout to walk ratio, which is incredible, 5 walks and only 12 strikeouts, so he'll be tough. Keep off base. The 3-2 to Owen. Slam to left field. Gonzalez loping back. He'll have room, and there is out number 2.
Second man to go to 3 balls on Kenny Rogers, and this would have been a borderline pitch for Ed Bean to call. Take a look at the location. Ball 4. Would have been ball 4.
Maybe would have called it wrong.
Maybe they would have called it wrong, and he called it, yeah.
Giving Ed a lot of credit there. Here's Edmonds. Jim has struck out and grounded out. Was called out on strikes in the first and bounced out to second baseman Lee in the 4th inning. 1 strike.
Edmonds has never had a hit off Kenny Rogers.
Well, in the past, he would not ordinarily be in the game against the left-handed starter.
This would have been Salmon.
Fastball strike. No balls and 2 strikes. Kenny Rogers, 6 2/3 with 1 strike to go to finish 7. Little bit low. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Breaking ball foul. Took a little off that big sweeping bender, and he just got the end of the bat on it. Rogers looking for his 11th win. He has 5 complete games this year, which leads the Rangers. Is the best earned run average of the Rangers starters for the full season. Although pitch is high. Detmers is actually lower, but Detmer's not been with the club that long. It is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Boy, if you were watching carefully on that pitch, that was right in the glove, and Ed Bean can only tell Pudge, yeah, it was in the glove. Your glove wasn't behind the plate. That was close. Full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Struck him out.
On ball 4.
Strikeout number 6. Rogers has pitched 7. Nobody's been on base. The Rangers coming up in the bottom of the Rangers coming to bat in the 7th with Lee, Beltre, and Davis leading 4-0. But a large number of the 40,000 plus, looks like a sellout crowd on hand tonight, wants the Rangers to hurry up and bat. They want to see the defense work. Kenny Rogers, the man of the hour. Canseco, the offensive man of the hour, with 2 homers. But Rogers has been untouched as a pitcher. Lee is grounded out and flied out. And a strike. No balls and 2 strikes. That's quickly 1 out as Lorraine picks up his 2nd strikeout in a row and 3rd in the last 2 innings.
Ranger fans say, good, Manny. Good, good. Nice quick at bat.
You want your pitcher to get a little. That's fouled back. The Ranger attendance tonight is the 5th sellout in the last 7, 46,581, which runs the season total to 2,138,568. Beltre to count as 1-1. Beltre is lined to center and grounded to short. balls and a strike to Esteban.
Greg, let us, since we don't have Clubhouse tonight, quickly slip in the scores. Detroit beat Seattle this afternoon 4-2 on a 2-run homer by Tettleton in the 11th. New York won the continuation of last night's suspended game 4-3, but then Boston won the regularly scheduled game 1-0.
3 balls and a strike.
Cleveland won. Milwaukee won the first game of the doubleheader. Milwaukee continues to lead Toronto, and Kansas City's doing it to the White Sox again. White Sox ought to be getting a little nervous in that division.
That one's just a little bit low, and Esteban draws the base on balls. It's the second walk given up by Lorraine. Let us take a look at our Gatorade game summary as we are into the bottom of the 7th with 1 out. Kenny Rogers, of course, has had a superb game. 7 innings, no hits, no base runners, as a matter of fact. 6 strikeouts. Canseco has hit 2 home runs, and Gonzalez 2 for 3, now hitting .281. Another home run tonight. Ivan Rodriguez. Here's Davis. Rodriguez would be up next. Beltre has not been a successful base stealer this year, just 2 out of 7, but Lorraine keeps him close. Davis back with the club is 0 for 3. He's grounded out twice and popped out. Lisa Arsena and Hudler playing for the double play if they can get a ground ball their direction up the middle. Tough to turn him on Davis unless he really rips the ball, because he gets down the line. 1 ball and no strikes. Two balls. Butch Davis goes back with Kevin Kennedy in his managing days in the minor leagues. He was always impressed with him when he was in the Dodger organization. Played at Albuquerque. Well, he ought to have been impressed, Norm. In '90, he hit .342 for Kevin, and then .313 the next year. That'd impress you. Big swing, and it's 2 balls and a strike.
A decade ago, Butch Davis was a young outfielder in Kansas City that had a starting job.
Started the season, then he had a major injury that's cut his career in half. He only has something like 2 years of major league service when you add it all up. 2 balls and a strike. Rangers 4 runs, 6 hits, no errors. The Angels, no runs, no hits, no errors. We're in the bottom of the 7th. Well hit to center, but Curtis has it in his track. 2 down. Rodriguez, who's 1 for 3, would be up next, with Beltre back at first. Kenny Rogers getting set to come out and pitch the 8th. Interesting way of keeping the arm warm, wrapping it up in a towel. Now
Lorraine's gone.
They're going to make a change. Skipper Marcel Latchman is out, and they won't have him face the big right-handed hitters, Rodriguez and Canseco. And while we have a pitching change, let's remind you that it's being brought to you by Quaker State and Walmart. Shop Walmart for Quaker State motor oil, the intelligent oil for longer engine life, and because Walmart always has the bottom of the 7th. The Rangers lead at 4-0 with 2 outs, runner on first. The new pitcher will be Russ Springer, the former LSU Tiger, and he'll be in to face Rodriguez. The right-handed pitching Springer.
Russ Springer was in the starting rotation, but that earned run average got him dropped into the bullpen, and you're going to see a change in Russ Springer. He will abandon his over-the-top style. He was bringing his hands up over his head. The Angels say he's going to abandon that and go back to the pause at the top of the chest motion that he used to have, and see if that brings his effectiveness back. There's a big series for Fantasy Challenge players coming up in the Astrodome next week. Colorado's in Houston for a 4-game set, and that means head-to-head competition between two of the top fantasy first basemen, Andres Galarraga and Jeff Bagwell. The winning move? Favor Bagwell, who's a lot more at home in the dome than Galarraga is when he leaves the mountains.
Well, there's a couple of great first basemen, though. They're having great seasons. And Rodriguez will be the hitter against Springer. Springer has been hit at a .311 clip this year. He's given up 8 home runs in 37 1/3 innings. Beltre is at first. And the pitch is wide for the ball.
Just like the man he replaced, Springer had a good record at Vancouver this year. He was 7-4 and an earned run average just over 3, but he has not managed to translate that AAA success into any major league effectiveness.
That's fouled away. Born up in Alexandria, Louisiana, lives in Pollock. Broke into the majors in '92. Was a teammate of Ben McDonald on one of Skip Bertman's strong teams at LSU. We happened to see him a few times on HSE.
You know, Greg, everybody talks about how little the Angels got in the trade of Abbott to the Yankees. Yankees haven't gotten much from Abbott when you come right down to it.
Not what they thought. That's fouled away down into the stands right side.
But the Angels, who had Abbott out there for bid, insisted on that particular package. Jerry Nielsen, Russell Springer, and JT Snow. And it's not like the Yankee system didn't have some other people in it. I mean, look at Philadelphia took Bobby Munoz away from him. Bobby Munoz is a terrific pitcher now.
1 ball and 2 strike pitch again to Gonzalez, or to Rodriguez, and that's bounced up, and the runner will go into second base. I don't think he was going on the pitch, so it won't be a stolen base. It'll be either probably a wild pitch.
Turner did about as well as he could do here. The ball skips. Ooh, he sort of forearms it into the air.
So that will get Beltre in scoring position. The count is 2 balls and 2 strikes to Pudge. Ooh, just missed, and it's full. 3 balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs, and standing on deck is the other Ranger homer hitter of the night. Jose Canseco has cracked 2 of them. Two from Springer to Rodriguez. Ball 4. Two walks in the inning, one from Lorraine, one from Springer, and now Canseco hits with runners at first and second. Jose has hit 2 home runs and line to center and had his shoes burned. It's been a memorable night.
Yes. Jose has truly been hot all night. Beauty.
Strike 1 to Big Jose. Full house crowd wanting to see Jose do it again. It's no balls and a strike. Quickly, it's no balls and 2 strikes. Rangers lead it 4-0. That is, however, not really the big story at this point. Kenny Rogers is the big story, as he has gone 7 perfect innings. We'll have Davis, Jackson, and Snow in the 8th. Rangers have a chance to add to the lead. He did swing. The ball gets away. Jose didn't realize it in time. Will not get down to first, and that retires the side. So the Rangers leave 2, do not score in the 7th, but don't go away, because this time it's the pitching you want to watch, as Rogers will go back to the mound when we return with a Morning News Sports Day front page news. A perfect night for baseball. It has been that so far for Kenny Rogers as he goes into the 8th inning, allowing nothing. He'll face Chili Davis, Bo Jackson, and J.T. Snow.
Of the 9 men in the Angels lineup, these are the 3 in the lineup who've had the best careers against Rogers.
Well, and you're talking 4, 5, 6 hitters, and the first slow breaking ball is a strike, and he jumps ahead on the count. Charles Theodore Davis is our Mountain Dew player profile. Born in Kingston, Jamaica. Tremendous baseball career. What a season he's had. 332 average. There's a looper to left. Gonzalez is there, and there's out number 1. He golfed under one and got it up enough for Gonzalez to make the play. There's 1 out of the 8th, and Bo Jackson, who was struck out twice, will get his 3rd look.
Bo now 6 for 16 career-wise against Rogers. Also, we're talking about the 2 hottest hitters in the Angel lineup back-to-back next. You talked about how well Jackson had been going. Snow has been going very well of late.
2 balls to Jackson. Kelly Robinson and Trey Carmichael from Texas Tech are here in the booth. They're in for the Southwest Conference get-together tomorrow. Football kickoff. Catching the action. That's fouled away. 2 balls and a strike.
There have been in Major League history 12 perfect games of 9 innings or more. That, of course, does not include Harvey Haddix, whose game was not perfect eventually.
They threw those out. There's a strike, a swing and a miss, and the count is even at 2-2.
There have been 4 perfect games of less than 9 innings in the major leagues. And the last perfecto, Dennis Martinez for Montreal against L.A., almost 3 years ago to the day.
The 2-2 to Jackson. Swat him out.
In fact, Greg, 3 years ago to the day, Dennis Martinez was pitching a perfecto against the Dodgers.
2 outs in the 8th, and the hitter is Snow, who has popped to 3rd and flied to center. 7 strikeouts for Rogers. No base runners.
Snow, the best career of any of the Angels against Rogers, 6 for 11.
1 ball.
That's 2 big guys Rogers has disposed of.
Tell you what, though, I think one thing about those numbers about who's done well against Kenny, you got to take them with a little bit of a grain of salt because he is pitching so well.
Yep.
They're not seeing the same Kenny. Now, that's not to say someone isn't going to get a hit, but he is pitching so well.
If Rogers can get Snow, the last 3 hitters in this game collectively against Rogers in their careers are 1 for 25.
2-0 pitch is slapped foul, and it's 2 balls and a strike. Next pitch will be only number 90, and this is with 2 outs in the 8th. So that should not be a factor. Fatigue. Kenny has had some high pitch counts and been very durable. Two balls and a strike. Palmer, foul ball. And it's too bad because the Rangers made a play on it. It is a foul ball called by the third base umpire, Tim Sheeta. Palmer made a nice play, and of course the scoop by Clark was outstanding, but for nothing. Let's take a look at it. How close? Right on the line, and apparently did not cross the bag. terrific. The Rangers lead it by 4. Bottom of the 8th coming. Clark, Gonzalez, and Palmer. But there is your story tonight so far. Tonight's game is being brought to you by America's place to go for fish. Go fish at Long John Silver's. Rangers coming up in the 8th. Clark, Gonzalez, and Palmer with a 4-0 lead, in the first pitch from one Louisianian to another is inside for a ball. Into the crowd, full house tonight, 46,581. CN1 they won't forget. Canseco with 2 homers, Rodriguez a homer, and Rogers takes a perfect game to the 9th.
The last lefty to throw a perfect game was Tom Browning for Cincinnati. Also against the Dodgers, by the way, in 1988.
One ball and a strike to Clark. Popped back into the stands.
Greg, just for the sake of it, here are the list of the 12 pitchers who've thrown regular season perfect games. American League, Cy Young, Addie Joss from Cleveland, Charlie Robertson from Chicago, Catfish Hunter, Len Barker, and Mike Witt, who threw his, of course, in Arlington.
That's fouled away. The count still 1-2. That was an early HSE telecast.
Angels against the Rangers.
It was the last game of the season, wasn't it?
Yep. Marv Foley made the last out.
1 ball and 2 strikes.
Nationally, there were 2 perfectos thrown in the 1800s.
Hard shot, caught by the first baseman, and the glove shown by Snow again. You know, Don Mattingly, who's Mr. Gold Glove, said Snow has the best hands of any first baseman he's seen, and we've seen him tonight twice.
Imagine if that had been Clark taking it away from Snow, what the crowd reaction would have been.
The Rangers haven't had to make any tough ones
No.
yet. Here's Gonzalez, who has singled twice in 3 at-bats.
The 2 National League perfect game pitchers in the 1800s, Lee Richmond for Worcester and Monty Ward for Providence. That league went 84 years without a perfect game till Jim Bunning threw one for Philadelphia. Then Koufax, Browning, and Martinez.
Fly ball to center short, backing up for his Hudler, and he makes the play.
Fantasy players should take note of San Francisco's new batting order with Bonds batting ahead of Williams. That's not only good for the Giants, it's good for Bonds and Williams fantasy owners. Since the change, both Bonds and Williams numbers should go up and should continue to go up. Bonds drives in runs but scores them, and Williams numbers have been going up.
Here's Palmer with 2 outs, fouling it back to the, well, in and out of the concourse level, right through the hands of one of the guys in the front row. There's the, I guess, if pitching is defense, there's the defensive star and the #1 offensive star tonight. Canseco with 2 homers. Nothing in 2. 2 outs here in the 8th.
Here's even the Ranger hitters the last few innings have been a little distracted.
Yeah, they've kind of forgotten to keep scoring. Another souvenir. Yeah, the folks, the concourse held on to that one. It's still nothing in 2. Palmer had a hit and drove in the first, well, the second Ranger run in the first inning. He's 1 for 3. Another souvenir.
You know, if there's some encouragement about Palmer, it's that he's starting to make contact again. Starting to foul off good pitches.
That may be a start to get him going. Nothing in 2. Ipapa. Short center field. Second baseman Hudler is gauging it. And the stage is set, folks. Do not go away. The 9th inning is coming. Kenny Rogers goes back to the mound, and the Rangers lead by 4. Here's our Sherwin-Williams play of the game. Really the only tough play the Rangers have had, and it was because of a side bad hop, but Palmer stayed with it and fired out Gary DiSarcina in the third. And the stage is set for the bottom or the top of the ninth, the last half inning for the Angels. If Kenny Rogers continues his mastery, he's got Rex Hudler, Chris Turner, and Gary DiSarcina, the scheduled hitters. There has been no Angel on base. Strike on the first pitch. Hudler has been called out on strikes and fried to left. 0-2. How do you stay relaxed? One thing you do is you try to pitch quickly. You'll notice those first two pitches came pretty quickly, and Hudler steps out of the box. Center field looper coming hard is Greer. He dives. He makes the catch. Rusty Greer in center field. There's one out.
Thank God they didn't set the strike date for July 27th. What a moment at this brand new ballpark to savor.
One out of the ninth. Chris Turner has flied to left and popped to first. One ball.
Turner has faced Rogers 6 times in his career. He's 1 for 6 against him.
On deck is Gary DiSarcina. Strike, 1-1.
DiSarcina in his career against Rogers, 16 at-bats, 16 outs.
And the pitch to Turner. Chopped to short. Beltre. 2 outs. Kenny Rogers is 1 out away from etching his name in history. Gary DiSarcina has grounded to third and grounded to the pitcher. Strike one. 46,581. A sellout crowd standing at the ballpark. Looper to center. Rusty Greer. He